When your fish sees you standing at the tank, do you actually know what they think you are? Yes, you're the one who feeds them. Yes, you're the one who maintains their entire world. But here's what most aquarium owners don't realize. Your fish has never once looked at you and seen a caretaker or a giant or even a threat. What they actually see instead changes everything about how you should be interacting with them. And most owners have no idea, which means they've been missing signals their fish sends every single day. Let's start with what your fish really sees when they look at you. 1. Your face is a blur, but your outline is everything. Have you ever pressed your face close to the glass and felt like your fish was looking straight through you, not at you? Yes, it feels like a connection. But here's what most people don't realize. Anything further than a few inches inside water becomes increasingly distorted to a fish's eye. The fine details you rely on, facial features, expression, eye contact, register to your fish as a soft, shapeless blur. Here's what's actually happening. Fish eyes are built for an entirely different visual world than ours. Water bends light differently than air. To compensate, fish have evolved eyes that are highly sensitive to movement, contrast, and silhouette, not detail. What your fish sees when you approach is not your face. It is your shape, your size relative to the tank, the way you move, the shadow you cast. A study published in the journal Scientific Reports found that archerfish and several other species can distinguish individual human faces with up to 86% accuracy, but not through fine detail, through the overall pattern of light and dark, shape and proportion that makes your silhouette uniquely yours. Your fish doesn't carry a picture of your face in their mind, they carry the entire shape of you. But here's the part that almost nobody in the aquarium hobby talks about. The way your fish has learned to read you goes far deeper than just recognizing your outline. There is one specific thing your fish does when they see you, something researchers once dismissed as impossible in a creature this small, and we'll get to it at the end. When you hear it, the way you stand at their tank will never feel the same again. 2. They don't see you as a threat anymore. And that took work. Have you ever noticed a new fish darting to the back of the tank the moment you walk into the room, hiding behind every decoration, pressing into corners, refusing to come out? Most people take it personally. They assume the fish just has a nervous personality, or that it doesn't like them. So they either force interaction or give up entirely. Here's what's actually happening. To a fish that has just entered a new environment, every large moving shape near their tank registers as a potential predator. That is not timidity. That is millions of years of survival programming doing exactly what it was designed to do. In the wild, a shadow falling over water almost always means danger. A large shape approaching means something is about to eat you. Your fish's first instinct when they saw you was fear, not curiosity. Not recognition, fear. What happens over time with consistent, calm, non-threatening presence is that the fish's nervous system gradually reclassifies your silhouette. You move from threat to neutral, then from neutral to safe. Then, in deeply bonded fish, from safe to anticipated. That fish who now rushes to the front of the tank when you walk in, they went through every one of those stages to get there. You earned that response. They chose to trust you. And hey, if this is changing the way you see your fish right now, hit that like button and subscribe. It's how we reach more fish keepers who actually want to understand what their fish have been trying to tell them all along. 3. To them, you are the weather. Have you ever thought about the fact that everything in your fish's world, the temperature, the light, the food, the water quality, the current, is controlled entirely by you? Most owners think about this practically. They see themselves as the maintenance crew, the person who keeps the system running. Here's what most people don't realize. To your fish, you are not just the person who manages the tank. You are the single most powerful environmental force in their entire existence. You are more influential to their daily experience than anything else in that water. When you are calm and consistent, their world is stable. When you are erratic, slamming doors, changing routines, altering the tank unpredictably, their entire physiological stress response activates. Research on fish stress responses shows that unpredictable environmental changes, including irregular feeding schedules, sudden light changes, and inconsistent human presence, produce measurable cortisol spikes in fish, the same stress hormone that floods a human body during anxiety. Your fish doesn't see you as a giant standing outside their world. They experience you as a force that moves through it every single day, whether you realize it or not. 4. They read your movement like a language. Have you ever noticed your fish responding differently depending on how you approach the tank? Moving slowly brings them forward. Moving suddenly sends them scattering. The same person, the same fish, completely different response. Most people assume this is just basic startle reflex. Fast movement equals danger. Slow movement equals safety. Simple as that. Here's what's actually happening, and it goes much further than reflex. Fish are extraordinarily sensitive readers of movement pattern, not just speed, rhythm, direction, repetition. Over time, a fish that lives with the same person begins cataloging that person's specific movement signature. The way you walk, the angle you approach from, whether you tend to reach for the feeding container before you reach the light switch, or the other way around. Studies on learned behavior in fish show that they can anticipate sequential human actions, responding to step 1 of a routine before step 2 has even happened. They're not just reacting to what you do, they're predicting what comes next. Your fish has been studying you, quietly, patiently, building a model of how you move through their world, and they use that model every single day to decide how to feel about your presence. 5. They have a concept of you when you're not there. Have you ever come home after a long day, walked up to the tank, and had your fish immediately swim forward as if they'd been waiting? Most people smile at this and assume the fish just wants food. Conditioned response, Pavlovian, nothing deeper than that. Here's what most people don't realize. For a fish to respond to your return, they need more than a simple stimulus-response loop. They need something researchers call object permanence, the cognitive ability to hold a representation of something in mind, even when it is not present. For a long time, science assumed fish simply didn't have this capacity. Recent behavioral research has overturned that assumption. Fish in stable, enriched environments demonstrate clear evidence of anticipatory behavior, positioning themselves near feeding zones, becoming more active, and displaying recognition responses at times that align with their owner's typical routine. Even before the owner appears, your fish doesn't just know you when you're standing there, they hold a version of you in their mind when the room is empty, and when you walk back in, they already knew you were coming. 6. You are their entire social world. Have you ever considered that for a solitary fish? A single betta, a lone Oscar, a fish kept without tank mates? You might be the only consistent living presence in their world. Most people don't think about this. They assume fish are too simple to register loneliness, too instinct-driven to need social input. So the idea that a fish could experience your presence as genuinely social never crosses their mind. Here's what's actually happening. Fish are not uniformly solitary creatures. Many species are highly social in the wild, living in structured groups, recognizing individuals, forming hierarchies. When those fish are kept alone, the social circuitry doesn't disappear, it redirects. Research on social behavior in fish shows that isolated individuals in enriched environments, tanks with consistent human interaction, display measurably lower stress responses than isolated fish with no regular human contact. The human presence partially fulfills what the social environment in the wild would provide. To your fish, you are not standing outside their world looking in. In the deepest sense, for many fish kept alone, you are their world. Every interaction you have with that tank is a social event to them, whether you treat it that way or not. 7. What you really are to them. Remember at the start when I said there is one specific thing your fish does when they see you, something researchers once dismissed as impossible, and that when you heard it, the way you stand at that tank would never feel the same again? This is it. When a fish has lived with the same person long enough, been fed by them, observed their movements, learned their rhythms, experienced their presence as the defining constant of their entire environment, something shifts in how that fish processes their owner's presence. It stops being a neutral stimulus. It becomes something researchers in animal cognition now describe as a secure anchor. In attachment studies on fish behavior, individuals with consistent, predictable human caretakers show dramatically reduced stress responses to novel stimuli, new objects, new tank mates, sudden changes, not because the stimuli are less threatening, but because the presence of their familiar human or even environmental cues associated with that human appears to regulate their stress response the way a bonded companion would. Your fish doesn't see you as a giant. They don't see you as a threat. They don't even see you as simply the source of food. To your fish, you are the most familiar thing in their world. The one presence that tells their entire nervous system that things are okay. The constant in an environment that could otherwise feel completely unpredictable. You are not their caretaker. You are not their owner. To your fish, you are home. Because what your fish sees when they look at you was never really about vision. It's about pattern, familiarity, safety. The slow, quiet process of a small creature deciding that the shape moving outside their glass is not something to flee from, but something to swim toward. They made that decision about you. And that's not nothing, that's everything.